If you behave like an animal, you get put down like an animal. Departing Seniors was directed by Claire Cooney, who's done shorts and acted in some films as well. Check out her IMDb page for the full list of her work. This is written by Jose Nateras, comes to us from Dark Sky Films, Chop Productions, and Queensberry Pictures, and takes place in the pre-pandemic time of 2019. It's hard to believe that was 5 goddamn years ago. Seems like a lifetime ago. But we star on Anytown, USA, at a high school in Anytown, USA, where Javier and Bianca are two best friends that have 1 week to look at their classmates before graduation happens, but Javier and Bianca are still determined to be friends forever. That's right, 2 song references. Songs that people will have stuck in their heads thanks to me, and only me. I'll take full goddamn credit for that. Let's get back to departing seniors. So, yes, they will be departing to go off wherever, to stay in their hometown and work jobs and just do whatever and live their best life. Some will go on to Ivy League schools. Some will go on to ply their trade in different countries. Who goddamn knows? Some of them won't, because departing seniors actually kind of has a double meaning, because there's a serial killer on the loose, and only Javier, after suffering a bullying act and falling down some stairs, he gains some psychic abilities, and he has the ability to see the past and the future for particular people, and must find a way to solve this mystery before his classmates are history. Departing seniors tales, woohoo! Yeah, so he must team up with Bianca. There's also a boy that he likes, because Javier, being very openly gay, he knows what boys like, he knows what guys want, he knows what boys like. Do boys like him? They seem to. A couple boys do seem to like him, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with being gay. Be proud, be whoever you are. If you aren't ready to come out, all good. LGBTQ doesn't matter. If you are not ready to come out, take your time, and if you're gonna be homophobic, fuck off. Just fucking fuck off. That's all I gotta say right there. That being said, it's marketed as a horror comedy and does put a few neat little spins on the whole slasher thing. I do want to say that I really appreciate the actress who played Bianca, Ariane Roche, who's a delight. She uses humor in serious situations. I can identify. She really is a standout. The actor who plays Javier, he's fine, but Bianca to me is the absolute standout. The cast does well enough. There's enough of backstory with some of these characters where you at least get the idea of what their motivations actually are. It also ends up being kind of standard fare, and you can really figure out who the killer is right away. Now, granted, as a horror comedy, you don't necessarily expect suspense. The kills are okay. This is more about being proud of who you are, staying up to bullying, maybe find out why the bullies actually bully people, and find out that there are people that hide secrets, and maybe you should understand your friends a little bit more. There's a couple scenes where I'm like, wow, that was a full-on dickish thing to say. It ends up being fine overall. I do recommend you guys check this out. I spent roughly, almost $8 after taxes to rent this on Amazon. And I encourage you guys to support independent filmmakers and films like this. And if it turns out you don't like them, hey, at least you supported the film, and you can choose to not support their projects in the future, but why not give them a shot? I will say that Claire Cooney does direct this film well. There are some neat little shots where the killer may be in a certain spot, may not be, some nice framing. The music choices certainly do add to it. And again, the character of Bianca, Ariane Roche, she's great. She's goddamn great in this. She has a lot of really good zingers, rapid fire shit. The chemistry between her and the guy playing Javier, that's the standout for the whole thing. And the little side thing with this guy, William, is actually kind of sweet. Even if you think it might be going a certain direction, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It is on Amazon if you want to check it out. Standard fare, not great. A little bit above average, that much I'll say right there. I am going to be getting into spoilers. That's your warning right there. 3, 2, 1, spoilers right now. Okay, right now. We're getting into spoilers. So, there's a teacher, Mr. Arda, that really wants to understand what Javier is going through, and he recognizes the bullying and stuff like that, and even Mr. Arda ends up, an inadvertent, bystander in this whole thing. Or innocent bystander, I guess would be the best term. He ends up getting coffee spilled on him. There are lots of bullying shit going on. The girl that plays Jenny was actually young Brooke in Black Mold. I totally forgot that I reviewed Black Mold, and I think it was not even 2 months ago that I reviewed that. The movie was fine for what it was. There's enough of a breezy pace to it, but it is a little bit familiar and sometimes tonally inconsistent. When it isn't Bianca doing the comedy, it doesn't hit. It doesn't hit at all. The serious stuff is, the kills are fine. But again, the mystery of it, who it actually is. By the way, it's Mr. Arda. It's Mr. Arda. I don't really think that was very surprising. It's because he was bullied. He even tried to take his own life. That's not the answer, by the way. Help is out there, just want to say. And he's been dispatching people. We even see a kid get dispatched after trying to bully and drown somebody in a pool. And he gets his wrist slashed and he can't get back up. Really, really good, convenient, way to just slash his wrist when he puts his hands up. And he just somehow manages to slash him just well enough to where he can't get out and he just bleeds out in the pool. But yeah, we have a week till graduation. After it's revealed that there was a relationship, shall we say, between one of the jocks, Brad, and Javier. Let's just say Trevor, his friend, looks at him differently. Yes, there you go. Doing that stuff just because your friend happens to be gay. That's not cool at all. Javier basically outing Brad, though, was kind of a dick move. To be fair, Brad was bullying him, but you don't out somebody before they're ready. Kind of dickish. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. But Javier ends up falling down some stairs. There is a line earlier between an exchange between Bianca and Javier where he gets bullied, and he's like, I know, you just wish they would die by a telekinetic vengeance. He says, you watch too many movies. That isn't foreshadowing, that's 10 shadowing, where the shadow is practically engulfing you and taking you away like a wraith in the night. After he falls down some stairs, it turns out he actually has some psychic abilities. This nurse touches him. And he sees how her grandfather passed and other stuff and everything. Now, he can see what people are going through, like how Bianca lost her dog and all this stuff, and how Bianca basically, I think they imply that she's bi. Nothing wrong with that, be who you are. That's implied in like one dialogue exchange. There's a lot of stuff going on at points where it makes the slower parts kind of a little bit head-scratching. So, yeah, he gets a vision of Brad at one point. Brad hanging himself, taking his own life. Again, not the answer, help is out there. It turns out actually the killer does this. This is after Trevor had not been very, very nice to Brad. Said, hey, by the way, now that I know you're gay, I don't want you in the shower with us. Dick. Literally. Now we're 2 days till graduation. The days really do last quite a bit. I mean, I think went from like a Friday to a Monday. So, yeah, I guess that was certainly a choice. But we just skip over a few days instead of maybe them being targeted around their house. We could have a little more slasher stuff. School is upset, except Jenny. Jenny seems to be kind of be moving on and everything with this stuff. Trevor it turns out Trevor's a little cheating shit. Jenny knew about it. Trevor ends up meeting his end after calling Brad's phone that still hasn't been shut off because it's only been a few days. And he maybe is possibly going to jump off a parking garage roof. Or the top floor of a parking garage. But the killer, Mr. Arda, kills him. And then there's this, these exchanges between Javier and William. And it comes to pass after William drops a book. Javier picks it up. Oh my God. I'm seeing the stuff. It's William getting all these flashes, these images. He sees Jenny in the auditorium. And there you go. We're going full on Scream 2, ending in an auditorium. Or we're going Scream 6, ending in some kind of thing with a weird staging area. And I would rather go with Scream 2, not Scream 6. Fuck Scream 6. Let's get back to this. William gets captured by Bianca, tied up with an extension cord after she hits him over the head with one of those, heavy bass drum sticks. Kind of funny. And then it turns out, by the way, he says, I lost my book, the book that Javier touched. And it turned out it was actually the book that he borrowed from the teacher. The teacher reveals who he is. He stabs William. Somehow William survives. Bianca leaves his phone at one point after waking up from being punched out. She leaves the phone. William calls, and he's somehow able to say, oh, I need help. I'm in the school. The teacher is looking after Jenny, or looking for Jenny, ties her up, lets her down after the rope gets cut, and seemingly she snaps her neck, except she doesn't. So the teacher reveals that he did this because he was bullied. He sees Javier being bullied too, and he's doing it for him. Well, basically, he's gone totally goddamn nuts. And then they end up basically, throwing a wrench into his plans, literally with an actual wrench, har. And the teacher gets taken away, seemingly. William ends up being taken on a stretcher, and Javier apologizes to him, and William, in his sweet moment, decides to kiss Javier because he's always wanted to do that. And then they just leave William there to be tended to, not put in the ambulance, and immediately taken away for a chest wound, and they seemingly take the teacher away. And then we go to the credits, and then somebody takes the mask, the happy, sad mask that the killer was wearing. And are we getting a sequel to Departing Seniors 2? Electric what the hell Boogaloo? Possibly. C+, it gets a C+. Again, the exchange between Javier and Bianca as characters. The actors had good chemistry. Everything else, kind of a wash. It was what it was. I didn't mind it. I look forward to seeing what else Claire Cooney can do, because I thought she did. She at least showed some promise. Nevertheless, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.